Black people, black people, black people. I'm here to talk to you about the importance of us having our own news and media outlets in order for us to convey information to each other's. What we have to understand is nobody in the media and politics is speaking for us as black people right now. And I do not believe that the media is bringing to forefront what our government is doing and how they are conducting themselves when it comes from the viewpoint of the government adding to the wealth gap, the government assisting other races and nationalities of people in progressing and not doing that for us. And mainly our information about what the government is doing is coming from ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, News, CNN, all European controlled and owned outlets. And this is very troublesome. And we do not understand in which the degree that we contribute to the government and the stabilization and the continued stabilization of the American economy, how much more we contribute to this government relative to our population. We do not fully understand that. We do not understand how they take our resources from our community and continue to build wealth in their community. And this is why it is imperative that we create our own media outlets so that we can understand this. And I want to do this by starting off with an example. Currently, we in the process of, we have hard economic times right now. And America is currently receiving an economical stimulus package. Now, what I want you to understand is that economical stimulus package, right, is $900 billion, right? Understand this. 624 billion of that is going to corporations again. Basically, 286 billion of that bailout is going to personal cash payouts to the citizens and the $600 a month unemployment, the $300 a month additional unemployment, right? Now, when the wealthy people, banks, when they get into a situation and they about to collapse, this is how our government responds. On October 3rd, 2008, $700 billion Emergency Economical Stabilization Act, right, paid out to banks for their bailouts. $700 billion was paid out to the banks for their bailouts. Ms. McConaughey said nothing when those banks gave their employees $1 million bonuses for causing our recession, because it was caused by the banks. $80.7 billion bailouts, TARP. Taxpayers lost $10.2 billion to GMAC, with the General Motors American company, and then Chrysler, and also Ford Credit received a separate bailout. So GM received $51 billion in bailout money. Sold for $39.7 billion. $11.3 billion loss on the GM. GMAC, General Motors American Company, $17.2 billion bailout. Now they sold for $19.6 billion, giving the government a $2.4 billion return on that bailout. Chrysler, $12.5 billion bailout. $11.2 billion sale. Government lose $1.3 billion. Right? Now, you got to understand, Also, Freddie Mac bailout, 2006, 2008. Treasury Department purchased $100 billion in preferred stocks, which is from wealthy people, of organizations and mortgage-backed securities. So the people who invested and gambled into your house, purchasing your mortgage, was bailed out. But not the people who was losing their homes was not bailed out. Understand that. America went and protected the wealthy first. So, now, this is according to Shadow Open Market. Okay. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Okay, $116 billion for Freddie Mac. They bought, the government paid $116 billion to cover up bad business decisions made by Freddie Mac. For Fannie Mae, I mean. And then for Freddie Mac, it was $71 billion. So this is why it's imperative for you to understand this. Said they probably paid back about $56 billion of that money out of $87 billion, right? This is why it's imperative for us to understand that when you see black people competing in business, we're competing at a great disadvantage because those white companies are getting the financial support from the government that me and you are not getting as black people. Now, another reason it's imperative that we control our own media is what you have to understand is how they have been using the media to manipulate their people and us the whole time. You have people claiming to stop the vote, stop the steal the vote campaign. Trump clearly showed you he was planning on stealing the election from day one. Disposing of your democracy. July 30th, 2020, Trump tweeted, delay election. Right? See, on August 17th, August 18th, Trump went on Fox Business News and stated that he was withholding funding from the post office to prevent mail-in elections. Right? The Republicans also ensured that mail-in elections could not be counted to after election or to after the regular elections votes was counted during election day. Knowing Democrats had decided to do mail-in elections in order to be safe. The smart thing, be healthy, because of the pandemic, and the objective is to look out for people's health. So I'm not a Democrat, forget them, they're not for black people. But that was the smarter move to do at that time, right? And so what Trump says is, no, either you go vote for me, go get sick, risk your life, your health, and vote for me. And his people did, idiots, because they following a media outlet, Fox or AON or a lot of cable right-wing racist networks, internet right-wing racist networks, they follow. And that gives them control of that audience. And we follow that and we get fed negative propaganda about ourselves and who we are as a people. He clearly showed step by step that his plan was to delay or to alter the election and to fight it. And he clearly showed you his steps. The delay funding the post office. Slow up the vote. Slow up the votes from coming in. Hope the votes come in late. Don't count the votes if they come in after this point because we're going to slow the post office up. See, if you follow the media, this is common. This is things you should know already he did. And if you still support him at that point, then you are opposed to democracy, right? And if you are willing to give up your own power to vote and your own say-so in this political stance, then you are a danger to democracy. So our limited access to information to be spread between one another is harmful to us as a people. It's been harmful to us as in how we look at each other and see ourselves as a people. So what I want you to understand is it is imperative, us as a people, to take control of our own forms of communications and where we get our information from.